to another episode of Little Give. I cannot wait for you to meet our guest and to peel back the layers of her and her story. Go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from. Tell us what you're all about.
Yes, my name is Tiffany Colvin, and I am from the city of Akron, Ohio, known for Goodyear tires and LeBron James. A little bit about myself is I am an author. My authoring came out of some of the pains that I have been through in life, and it was an opportunity to for me to in the vicissitudes of life to find a way to help others. And for me, I was a single mom, and I love what this organization does. I call it giving to give back to single moms because I was one of those single moms. How they help to ensure that you pay it forward. And it reminds me of the story in the Bible of the woman with the widow's mite and how she, although she had little, she gave what she had. And so I think a lot of times in life, we feel like we don't have anything to give. We might feel like I'm the single mom or I'm on a fixed income, whatever that thing might be that we feel keeps us or holds us back from giving. But we have something to give, just like the woman with the widow's mite. Our gift might be the thing that changes someone else's life. You can give the gift of your smile. You can give the gift of, hey, I'm going to check on this person. I'm going to give the information that I have, that I've gleaned. For me, it has been with working with people with disabilities and my own son's having a disability and saying, you know what, as I glean information, how do I disseminate that to other people? How do I support other moms? How do I mentor other moms in states across the nation? I allow them to call me and say, hey, you just need a listening ear. There is a a topic that we have that is that if we just give people 8 minutes can change their life. If they are going through something, if they're battling depression, if they're battling with the vicissitudes of life, the challenges of raising a child or a loved one with a disability, we can say, you know what, I can give you 8 minutes of time to just sit and listen, and that can change their life, because sometimes we make long-term decisions for temporary problems. So it is so important, and it is part of what I call the everyday evangelism that we all can do.
Well, I love that. It sounds like you're perfect for the show because that's what I try to do is I try to show people is like, you don't have to give a $10,000 check to help someone.
That's right.
There's something you do in your everyday community that can really, really make an impact. So I'm so grateful that you shared all of that. And I'm glad that you're doing all these amazing things. What is it about you that really made you want to do these things?
So, like I said, I was a teenage mom. And for me, I look back and I look at the things that God has brought me through. And I was like, man, how resilient have I been? Even as I was 10 years old, catching three buses to get to school. In order to go I didn't go to my local school. I went to a private school, and I was like, how did I make it through catching two public buses to get to the school bus? But if there was something in me, and what was in me was faith, and we only require a mustard seed of faith. And so for me, it has been, hey, I've had to overcome these challenges, and even later on in life, 10 days after my sons were born, my father passed away of cancer, and then a few years later, my mother passed away of cancer, and all the while, I ended up being diagnosed with a chronic illness that caused me to be in a wheelchair, and at the same time, my children are being diagnosed with autism. And so, with all this going on, I remember saying to God, you know what, God, I know you say you won't give us more than we can bear, but I'm feeling like a pack mule. So, so you're going to have to help me with this situation. And so I tried to find something to help therapeutically help myself. And I found that by doing small things for other people and understanding that, hey, even though I'm in a bad place, there's someone worse off than me. And so my first thing was, oh my God, if I went to the dollar store, I was like, you know what? Let me pay for this person's that's behind me. It is the paying it forward, because someone has invested in me. And as we sow into other people, we'll reap a bountiful blessing.
So true. You talk about being single parent. Sorry. You talk about being a single parent. And, I've been there. And I really think that it's really important to share with others that, like, it's not necessarily a chosen road,
Yes.
and so talk a bit about that and how, you didn't choose your road, but yet here you are, making a better road for somebody in front of you.
Yes, absolutely. Because I feel like we our pain always has purpose. It does. We think it is about us. We think, woe is me, pity on me. But God allows us to have those experiences so that we can have empathy and sympathy towards others and say, you know what? I have gone through this, so I can help you along the way. And so part of that has been, I have a heart for single moms. I have a heart for parents that have children with disabilities. And so that is just part of my crusade. And it is, hey, if you need someone to talk to, sometimes I might just scour the Facebook and see there are people that are hurting that just say, I just need somebody to talk to. So it's giving that little bit, those words of encouragement, that love, that care to them is so important, because it can be a life or death experience for them. They can decide to make a long-term decision for a temporary problem. They say that it's about 48 hours that, when people decide that they're going to take their life, that typically the issue that they are dealing with could have been resolved within 48 hours. And so we want to invest those 8 minutes into people's lives. I don't care if it is paying for a dollar store item. I have been told so many times, I've never had that happen. No one's ever bought anything for me. There is something you can do. If it's volunteering, if it's giving your children's old clothes to someone else, to donate it to a shelter, to donate it to a autism therapy center, whatever it is, we all have something. Our smile, just waking up in the morning, and when we're out and we see people down, just saying good morning, because we have become a community that has become so closed off. And so we have to get out and share the brightness and joy that we have with others.
Hi, my name is Justin Clark, and I'm the president of the board of directors for Driving Single Parents, a 501c3 nonprofit serving the citizens of San Antonio and Bexar County, Texas. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about the great work that our organization is doing for the citizens of San Antonio. What you're about to see is just a few photos and videos of the way that we're changing lives for single parents in and around San Antonio, Texas. Our first giveaway took place in April of 2017, just one short month after the formation of our organization. John, a Bexar County resident, was the victim of a horrible drunk driver incident. He and his daughter survived the crash, and we were so proud to give our first car to this deserving family. Fast forward to 2020, a very difficult year for nonprofits. We were able to secure 4 vehicles for single parents in need. Our organization, including our board of directors, list of partners, and portfolio of people we've been able to help in San Antonio, continues to grow, and it's all thanks to donors and local community organizations that have helped us along the way. This giveaway took place in 2021 and shows that we continue to help single parents even after the struggles brought about by COVID-19. Because of limited funds and the overwhelming need, we at Driving Single Parents are incredibly selective with the people we help. Some are victims of domestic violence. Others had a spouse pass away tragically, or otherwise fell on hard times. These single parents show adversity in the face of challenge and aren't looking for a handout. We offer a hand up and help get them back in the driver's seat. Many of the single parents we help go on to graduate college, get promotions, get married, mentor others, and some have even been so touched by the gift we gave them that they have decided to join our board of directors to pay it forward and ensure the continued growth of our organization. If you would like to help our organization continue to grow and continue to help single parents in need in San Antonio, Texas, and Bexar County, Texas, we would really appreciate your support. Please visit us online at www.drivingsingleparents.org. Thank you.
What got you started in all this like acts of service? Like, what do you think it is about you when you were like a small child that really kind of got you thinking that you wanted to be this kind of person who just really thinks about others and wants to help other people?
Well, I will say it was definitely my mother. My mother was a woman of faith. And despite what she was going through, even as she had stage 4 colorectal cancer, she was still giving. And what I learned, even in her death, was that we have to leave a legacy of faith. It doesn't matter how much money we leave our children. It doesn't matter, what other things we do. We have to leave that legacy. And part of her legacy has lived on in me. And I've been blessed to hear so many people who come up to me. And while my mother was battling cancer, she was taking other people to their therapy, to their treatment. While she was battling cancer, I had a man come up to me after she passed away, and he said, "Do you know your mother went out and bought me a pair of shoes because I didn't have a pair of shoes?" So that was instilled in me. I'm grateful because she taught me how to go to food banks and to feeding programs. My mother's career was she went underneath the highways and byways for the federal government to find the homeless veterans and get them housing, to do those things. And so I owe it all to her for instilling that in me and discipling me in that way.
Oh, I love that so much. And so, like, I know that you've been down this journey, right? With your childhood, we talked about all the things that you're so passionate about. That led to a book. Tell us about this book that you wrote and why you wrote it.
Yes. So it is called Your Daily Ticket, God's 31-day passport to living effectively. And the reason why I wrote it, I wanted to share my testimony in a way that everyone could enjoy it. Everybody's got maybe 10 minutes a day that they can spend with working on themselves, finding out what their purpose is in life. And when life happened to me and I was diagnosed with a chronic disability, I decided, you know what, God, you have placed so much in me. What is it that I can give back to the world? So while I'm laying in pain, I said, you know what? I'm going to turn my pain into purpose and give other people the option to read what has happened to me. And I talked about anything from, finding the right partner, about finding your purpose, understanding that, this too shall pass, experiencing loss, and looking at all of the things that happen to each and every one of us in everyday life, and sharing a hope and encouragement, and understanding that all things work together for the good to them that love the Lord and that are the called according to their purpose. That was my mother's favorite verse. And so I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to share it with other people. I talk about my struggles. I talk about, hey, at the end there's prayers so that they can each and every day take that step. It's 31 days. There's 31 days in the month, so that you can look at that devotional, read that prayer, and insert yourself and understand that God still has a plan and a purpose for your life.
Wow, it sounds like you have this like all figured out. You write this book. How did it feel to like really like sit down with yourself and like think through all the things that you wanted to put in the book? How was that? Because I know I've written 5 books, and I know that some of those were a little bit like, yeah. So I'd love to hear your side of that story.
That is so true, because sometimes you feel like, man, should I share this or shouldn't I share this? What it taught me is sometimes we have pride, and we have to understand that, again, our issue it's a shared issue a lot of times, and sometimes if we can be transparent, then other people can grow and heal in themselves as well, and understand that we all go through things. It is what we do with it. It is whether or not we decide to hold it to ourselves and say, you know what, I'm not going to let anyone know that this happened to me. But I just believe it is freeing for you, and it is freeing for someone else. It is a healing balm to us all. And so it was a difficult task. In fact, my thought was not, oh, I'm going to write a devotion. And then it was like, no, this is your opportunity to share with the world how to make it through the good times and the bad times. You know, we have, there's a verse in the Bible that says that as we, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And what I learned is the most important word is that we're walking through it. We are walking through it. And so sometimes we feel like, oh my God, I'm never going to get through this issue. But I am. You just have to continue to keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. And so this is your daily ticket. It's one day at a time. It is the manna for today. You know, it is, we don't hoard it for tomorrow. We say, you know what? I can make it through today. And if I can make it through today, I can get through tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. And that's what I had to do when I was faced with all of these things, these pressures coming on me. It was, hey, God, what can I do? How do I do this? And it is, and part of that is understanding that, you know, we have our faith, but we still say, you know what, God uses people. And just like giving, he uses people to bless us. And so we can be a blessing and we can be blessed by others. And so part of writing the book was to bless others, to pour out. And I say, I want to expel every gift that God has given me.
Hi, my name is Andrew Fraley, and I believe that sometimes we all need a little bit of help. If you're in the San Antonio community and you need some legal help, call me at 210-725-4658.
Yeah, I mean, listening through everything you're saying, I'm what's coming to me is like nobody deserves to be suffering in silence, you know?
That's right.
Nobody deserves that. And like we should all be in community, we should all be together. And you know, you talked a lot about, you know, the ticket and how people should really, you know, kind of, you know, utilize all these different tools.
Yes.
And what is one really good tip that you can give us that somebody can do right now today where maybe they're not feeling like that's a real thing? Like,
Yeah.
give us one little tip.
One tip would be to give yourself grace. You know, sometimes we can give it to other people, but we have to forgive ourselves for the mistakes that we've made. We can't allow that to hold us back. If it's an illness or whatever, we have to give ourselves grace. Grace sometimes is that, hey, maybe I can't get up and cook a meal, but I can get up. I got up and I was able to dress myself today. I was able to see my child that maybe couldn't read. Now they're reading one word at a time. It is looking at and celebrating those small moments, because sometimes we're looking for the big miracle and we have tiny miracles every single day, because every day is a gift and we must open it with intentionality and purpose.
You know, a lot of times whenever I'm going through or growing through some kind of mess, I think, how do you eat an elephant? You know, it's a famous saying, right? Like one bite at a time. And I think that's kind of what you're saying, right? Like you can't eat the elephant like all together like today. You have to eat it one bite at a time, like climbing a huge staircase. Like, how do you get to the top? One step at a time. And it sounds a lot like what you're saying.
Yes, yes, yes. So true, so true. And that's the thing. And sometimes we have to have someone come walk alongside us and understand that
That's what we're here for.
that's right. That's right. And that's what community is. And as I've sat in cancer support groups and things like that, it is so funny to me. And I always say this, illness doesn't have a color. Cancer doesn't have a color. It doesn't have a, you know, a socioeconomic uh, situation or status. And so as we all go through things, it doesn't matter our race or color or
Mm-mm.
creed.
Nope.
We pain is pain, you know. And so it is learning how to step out of that box and not be like, well, I only want to be on my side or whatever. It is looking at the world through the viewpoint of we are all God's children. And I just think one day I want to go to heaven, and I don't want to be like, you know what? Hey, I want to be on this side or that side. We all have to encourage each other, love each other, and the world will be a better place.
You know, I love the thing that I say all the time that I heard from somebody else, which is like, we're human, all
That's
of us. Whether you're here in America or in another country, we are all human.
that's right.
And I think that's really important for people to understand is like, we're all human.
Yes.
It doesn't matter, like you said, all the things, like none of the things, that's all noise. Like
Right.
we are all human and
Yes.
we are supposed to be together as
Yes.
humans. And
Yes.
so I love that you gave that example. Can you give the audience an example of a little thing that they could do in their community that might just be a little give on their end, but might make a big impact on the other side?
I always think about parents with children with disabilities. And a lot of times people will shun them, or they don't understand the impact. They don't understand the burden that that caregiver carries. They don't understand the grief that actually comes with a diagnosis. So one thing you can do is look at your local organizations. There's the Autism Speaks or Autism Societies. There's, for different diseases, whether it be Down syndrome, whatever, there are opportunities to give back through volunteering. There are opportunities to help with tutoring. There are opportunities to just lend a listening ear. And so one thing I think about that is a practical thing is think about that family maybe buying a gift card and saying, you know what, I want you to be able to just go home today. And here's a gift card so you can get something to eat, so that you don't have to bear that load as well of going home and cooking a meal and a job and all those things. And I always think about that as well with single moms. Can you imagine just having a day that you can just sit and not have to worry about that portion of your day, is coming home and there's a meal to be able to eat. There's feeding kitchens, there's soup kitchens, there's donating old items, recyclables to a local community store, things like that. And again, my simplest thing is next time you're at a dollar store, pay for the person behind you and watch their face light up, because most people have not had a random act of care ever in bestowed to them. So it is so important.
Oh my goodness. I have so much to say about everything you just said. Wow. You're right. Like those people who are, working to like get one place to the next, they're not used to other people helping them as much as you could. And so
Yeah.
that one little, pay for somebody's $30 tree, that's amazing. I mean, that would really make somebody's day. And I know that back in the day when I was a single mom and I was struggling, that would have meant the world to me. And so I really feel like it's important that we do these things, and not just for single moms or single dads, but for humans, like all of us as people. And so I love that you gave that example. And so we should just keep doing that. Just keep being kind.
Yes.
Can you give the audience an example of a time in your life where somebody did something little for you that might have just been a little give on their end, but really made a big impact on you and in your life?
I think again, I have been the recipient of, sometimes you're in a fast food line and someone will pay for the car behind them. And so I've been the recipient of that. And so that is the paying it forward and saying, you know what, somebody did that for me. And so I think we have to rush to the opportunity, because we are blessed to be a blessing. And like I said, and you pointed out, it's not just the single mom, it's the invisible people that are known as the seniors. Take a senior a meal, take a senior, ask them, hey, do you need help with something? It is just having a list, being a listening ear. Listen, I have so many older women in my life now that they call me daughter because I have no mother. And so I had to say, Lord, I need some moms. And so I give something to them because they may not have had any children, and they give something back to me. And when I am down, I can call them, or if I need advice, I can call them and say, hey, what do you think about this? And so it is the exchange. It is sending a card to someone who is ill. It is actually praying for them and saying, hey, you know what? I know you're going through this. I'm praying for you. But not just say it, but actually do it, and stop what you're doing and encourage them. And just sometimes I just send out blanket texts to everybody in my contacts, and I encourage them and say, hey, I don't know what you're going through today, but I want you to know that I'm rooting for you and that you can make it regardless of what you're going through. And so many times they will reply back and say, I needed that today. And so we never know. I say that widow's mite. What you do might just change someone else's life.
Oh, I love that so much. I have a thing called Thankful Thursday. And so every Thursday, I like reach out to somebody who I haven't talked to in a while, just kind of check in on them. And I think that, it means a lot to me. I mean, even if they don't reply, which usually they do, and they're excited to hear my message, but, that voice text that says, like, I'm thinking about you.
Yes.
It tends to hit a certain way. So I love that example. I know you're big about giving. Why don't you tell us about a nonprofit that you love and enjoy?
So I have I what is dear and near to my heart is autism, the Autism Society, as well as F2F, which is a program that is around the nation. And what this program does is it serves as a mentoring center for parents with disabilities, children with disabilities. That have special healthcare needs. They provide family resources. They kind of put people on track. And in mentoring, at times I have met families. I think about the fact that my children have autism, but sometimes we don't think about the gravity of the illness and how it can sometimes take a child's life. And so, I look at it as an opportunity to say, you know what? Despite what I am going through, there is someone out there that is dealing with a challenge far greater than mine. Both of my sons have autism, but the thing is that we are all fighting a good fight. And those centers, without the help of people donating and helping, they will not be able to survive. With all of the budget cuts and things that are happening, there is an opportunity and a need to support and come in and become that safety net. And so what we do is we go out, and a parent can call. I've had parents call me from all over the United States, from New Hampshire, wherever, and even not even part of my mentoring, just as humans, as people know that, hey, she's got information. She can help you. She can tell you where to go, what to do. We are a community, and we have to embrace each other, because just like autism, it can affect every demographic. And so we cannot just keep things to ourselves. We have to spread the word. We have to encourage others and ensure that others who need that support are not sitting in silence in their home, not getting the attention, the care, and the support that they need. Because if we don't care for the caregiver, who will care for the child? So that is so important to ensure, that you help. Again, there are care centers, mentoring programs throughout the United States that work to help those with children with disabilities, those with special healthcare needs. And so it is so, so very important.
I love that so much. We got to help the helpers. We have to continue to help the helpers, and remember that we're all humans.
Yes.
together in the same world. And so I love what you've shared today. Why don't you tell the audience where they can find you, get to know more about you and all you do, and how they can get involved?
Yes, so I am available on Facebook. You can reach me at Tiffany Colvin, as well as Instagram. I'm on Instagram at Tiffany Colvin 75 at Instagram. I also encourage children with disabilities through creating T-shirts. My son's, we have a T-shirt that says "Autism Rocks." It says "Autism Rocks," and it says, in every sense of the word, God's gifts should not be mocked. And so it is just a way for children with autism not to feel down or depressed or feel like they have no voice, but it is to say and remind our society that they shouldn't be mocked, bullied. They should be treated with kindness and care. And that's what we need to spread. And so I can also be reached on Facebook Divine Designs 2D2. And that is just a page in which we kind of promote just that idea. So absolutely, you can reach me, you can DM me, you can whatever, and we will definitely get in touch with you. If you would like to find the book is on Amazon. It's available on Amazon, or you can DM me. If you want to give a book to a single mom, contact me. I will discount it. If you want to send it to a shelter, if you want to give it to women in need in a women's shelter, I will be more than happy to do whatever I can to work with you to ensure that they are encouraged. It is so important that we spread love, that we spread kindness in the days that we are living in.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for giving us all the information on how the audience can find you. If anybody out there is watching this and they want to, get with her and find out more about her book and all the things she's doing, amazing. If you want to learn more about that nonprofit, go to the nonprofit website, find out more. And if it's something you're passionate about, go make a donation. $1 or $5 can go a long way for these nonprofits. So thank you everyone for watching, and thank you so much for being on today, and we'll see you all next week. If you enjoyed this episode of Little Give, head on over to our website at littlegive.com. You'll be able to find all the information about previous episodes and past guests that we've had on. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on Little Give, all the information is also on the website. And if you have a nonprofit that you love and would like to recommend be on the show, all of that information is also on the website. We really appreciate you watching today, and we can't wait to see you again next week.